All right guys, the best part about putting this 7-pin DIN plug on is you can use it with the Biker Boom headset, available exclusively in the Law Abiding Biker store. All right, first Phillips screwdriver. We're just going to get the seat up out of the way. One Phillips screw like so. And we'll get this and set it aside. All right, next I'm going to get this saddlebag out of the way just so it's out of my way. I got to get this panel off. We want to get to one of our main fuses. Of course, 2 quarter turns pins inside that saddlebag. And I'll set this off to the side. Next we'll get this panel. These just pop off. They've got rubber plugs. So we want to get to our fuse panel, which is under the left side of these touring models. And it's just the 4 or the 3. They just pop into the rubber grommets there. All right, and then you just want to find your main fuse. Right there is what you're looking for on this, guys. And because we're going to be working with electrical, we're going to pop the main fuse. We'll be working with plugging some stuff up front in the fairing, so just remove that. All right, and with a Torx 27, T27 up here. Some of the newer bikes are Phillips now, like the Road Glides and stuff, but these are still T27. On the Street Glide, there's 3 of them across the top. I'm going to remove the 2 outer ones here. And I'm just going to loosen the center one. I'm going to leave the center one so that when I take the inside bolts out, this whole fairing doesn't drop. It's kind of my last anchor. It's the last thing I'll take out. But I'm at least going to loosen enough so I can grab my windshield and work it out of here. Okay, we're on the left side of the fairing. Of course, it's the same on the left and right side of the fairing. There's 2 Torx 27, one at the bottom, one at the top. And I'm going to start working on getting those out. And if you have a nice T-handle like this, you can go right over the clutch lever and it fits just right to get this top one out. And I want you guys to note when I get this top one out, don't get these backwards. There's a longer one and a shorter one. As you can see, the shorter one, make sure when you put this back together, it goes on the bottom. Longer one goes on top. All right, and so the last bolt I left here on purpose, obviously, is was holding the fairing just to make sure it didn't drop. Put something on your front fender if you want, because you're going to rock this forward. That way, if you were to lay it on your fender, you wouldn't have to worry. I just put my hand under it. I've done it enough. And then I can unplug the headlight plug in here and get the fairing out of the way. Okay, so we're inside the fairing now. First thing your kit comes with is this, a ground wire. And it also comes with a little nut. It's a nut driver I'm just using, a 1/4 inch for this. All right, and there's a little slot right here they want you to put it on. Right in the back of the boombox radio is basically what we're doing here. All right, got that snug down there. Next you want to look for this plug up here, guys. It's actually got a rubber plug in it like so. It might be at a little different location in your Road Glides, but generally it's going to be the dead-headed plug, not really connected to anything. It's just hooked by a Christmas tree there, organizer, so it kind of sits on the plate up there. It's got a rubber plug in it, seal. All right, a couple things I want to note on this, guys, is you'll see on here, you'll see all the wires going in the back, except for the number 12. There's 11 wires, number 12 is dead. And yours will have a white stick in it, basically. That's a seal plug is what it is. I've already taken mine out. I'm going to show you how I did that, but it's a seal plug in there. And so it's just a white stick hanging out the back. In reference, you'll note up here, number 12 is dead, and that's where that white plug was. You really won't see anything here. It's kind of dead up there. You won't see anything up there. But first thing you want to do, the procedure for this, is these 2 holes in the center. You want to get yourself a pair of small needle nose. You can stick it in the center, and we're going to pull this black or this white plastic piece out just a little ways like so. You just reach in, pinch it. Now you can see the pins aren't as long. It's because we pulled that plastic piece out a little bit. That frees it up. Above each of these pins is a hole. You take a dental tool we flattened out, seems to work the best. And to get any of these pins out, you just put it in the hole. And of course this one, because we're getting the white plastic piece out, it acts just like a wire. You take the hole right above where the pin would be, above any of these pins, and we put it in that hole. Once you put it in that hole, you can grab a your white stud plastic rod will be. I took some needle nose, and you can just grab onto it so you can kind of have some push-pull action. And this goes for any of these wires on the back. This is how you do this. The hole's right above the pins. You put your tool in, dental tool in this case. It's got to be real small. And you just, a little finesse. You push in a little bit with your dental tool, and at the same time, you're back here pulling your wire or your plastic rod, whatever it may be. And it's kind of a push-pull technique. And you'll feel it. Just work it. Push real good on this so you're pushing the release, and then push in, and you'll hear it kind of click and give. And then you can pull any of these wires out and put them back in. That's how these plugs work. All right, so just remember, first thing, you got to pull that out. All right, and so what we're going to do now is we put this ground wire on. Remember, that was our step, and it's got one of these pins right in the back. And so this kind of goes in one way, guys. You'll kind of see the slot in here. It's kind of difficult if you try to do it upside down. It's not really going to go. But there's a little raised section on here, and if you keep that raised section up the way I have the plug referenced, it fits in real nice. And you heard that. You'll feel it, and it clicked in, and now you can see we have a nice plug right in the number 12 slot, just like the rest. And then we will take our needle nose, push back in. That locks everything into place so it can't be manipulated now. All right, now we have this ground plug into this stock OEM deadheaded plug. All right, next is what came in your kit, guys. Of course, it's got the rider headset plug right there, and then it's got this plug, which of course set us up perfect because we just finished this. And so this only goes in one way. You can see it's got wings on the top, and on the top of this, it's got 2 slots for those wings. So pretty simple, pretty basic. Click in. Now we can start, I'll put this back in the Christmas tree actually, because that's where it's going to be. Now we can work on some wire management and how we're going to run this up. And basically we're going to go up the left side of the bike is what we're going to go up right over here. All right, next we're going to get the fuel tank off because we want to get to the wire trough to run this wire out of the fairing. And then we're going to bring it back here out of this wiring trough. And it's just a Torx 40. We're going to start with the 2 bolts on the back of the tank here. All right, and we're getting the last bolt out there. So those 2 bolts right there, that frees the back of the tank. Now we'll move up front. All right, next on both the front of your tank is just some plastic caps that go over these to kind of hide them. Again, one on each side of the front of your tank. Again, a Torx 40, same as the back. And we'll get both of those out. All right, that one's out. I'll move around to the other side and free that one. All right, and to lift the tank off, we need to free a couple things right here. And basically there's a stock OEM plug right here. It's push and pull. You just push down on the tab and pull. That releases that. Here's another vent line, and you can pull that out there. All right, that frees that. And then we've got one more just vent line that stuffs down in there. So now you can see we've got everything clear, so we're not hung up when we lift this tank off. All right, so we're up underneath the left side of the bike here. Harley made it really easy on these newer bikes to remove the fuel line. It will probably drip just a little bit. Trick to this is a sleeve right here. As you pull up with my left hand, same time I pull down with my right, and I disconnect the fuel line. And after that initial few drops of fuel, of course it's made to seal off so you don't have to worry about it. Now we can lift this tank off here. All right, now everything's released. We got all our wires back here, or hoses I should say, and wires. We can go ahead and rock the tank up and get it out of our way. So this is your wire trough right here where all your stock wires. These, I've been in it a couple times, but they'll be stock zip ties around here. You're gonna have to clip those out of your way. You can put those back if you want later. All right, get those out of the way. That gives us access. The way this pops up is there's just tabs, and there's actually tabs on both sides. And you kind of got to you can get a screwdriver and you can work some of these tabs out on this side like I'm doing. And we're just going to open this whole wire trough up. All right, and I'm just working this side now, getting all these off. There's some brake lines and stuff up here on this side. You just get those out of the way. They kind of fit up in here just to organize everything. There we go. Now we exposed our wire trough. So pretty simple from here, guys. Of course, we've got our main communications plug here, headset plug, and we've hooked it up in the fairing. And really this is up to you, it's just wire management. I'm going to work this through real nice, and then I'll maybe zip tie something up here in the fairing. And I'm going to run it right along the neck here, along the stock OEM plug, and right down the wire trough. There we go. And just make sure we have enough down here, because we're going to have to come out of the bottom of this wiring trough, and then we're going to have to come up a little bit, and it'll end up being on top of the tank a little bit, like right up here. So just want to make sure we have enough wire. It looks like they gave plenty extra wire in this kit. So just button this down, run it how you want. Okay, I've got everything ran nicely how I want it. You might have to fight a little bit and push some wires aside, and again, it's really all up to you on how you want to manage your wiring. And then I'm going to go back on with the trough. Just make sure you got everything in your wire trough, that you're not pinching anything. I'm going to start buttoning this down. All right, just finishing it up here. Last two there. And if you want, you could put zip ties back around this if you're worried about it, because they're where they're stock, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and back up with the fuel tank there. Just work it all up there. And we'll have to do some fine adjustments here in a sec. There we go, that's generally in place. And of course, both sides, front of the tank, the Torx 40 bolt. You kind of have to lift your tank around to get that hole lined up just right. And I'm not going to completely tighten, I'm going to go around and get both of them hand started, and then I'll come around and crank both of them down. All right, now I can go ahead and crank these Torx 40s down. Just snogging about another quarter turn's fine, guys. About like so. And don't forget your rubber cap that goes over the top of those. And don't forget, we had the vent line that goes down this side. You'll kind of have to route that down how it was down here. Just a fuel vent line. Of course, we had this one. Don't forget to hook that back up. And then we had the one stock plug, like so. Now that stuff's all hooked back up. And of course, our Torx 40s, two of them on the back of the tank we took out here. Get both those started, and then I'll snug them down. Okay, there's just one Allen up here, and it's a 5/32. Easiest way is just turn your ignition, get it out of your way. That way you can get straight down in here. Again, 5/32 Allen, and there's just one right up front here. All right, and just finishing getting that out. There we go. That's the one on the front. All right, and on the back here is a 3/8. And we'll get that out of our way. All right, now that frees up the trim piece. And the other thing you need to do is remove your cap, your gas cap, because that will keep it from coming off over the top there. Now that will allow us to work this off. Just be careful not to scratch your tank up. You can put rags down if you need to, if you're going to turn this. But you can see underneath side of here, there's just some, if you need to get this trim piece all the way off, there's just some clips in here that you can spread open, some metal clips. Spread them open, you can get these lines out of there or whatnot. But that is how you remove that trim piece. All right, so for our particular application here, you can see there's a rubber trim piece that runs all the way up here at stock. It kind of comes off like so. Problem is, this little clip needs to go, and it's kind of going to hold our mic, so to speak, or not our, but our communications port, our 7-pin, and it needs to sit right up about here. And the problem is, if that rubber molding's there, we can't get it up there far enough, and it's kind of on the corner or the bend, so to speak. So all I'm going to do, and this isn't in the instructions, but typical little things that you run into, is I'm just going to use a X-Acto knife, and I'm actually going to cut just a little bit of this trim back so that it gives me a little bit extra room. Okay, so I got that little rubber piece cut off. Now I can put that back up there. And you could put a tank, or excuse me, a towel on your tank if you're worried. This is all underneath it, so I'm not worried about kind of setting it there, and I was real easy with it, but certainly you could do that. Now, this piece right here, we can slide on, and it'll sit where it should, not right on the corner there. Hopefully you're enjoying the video. If you want to make sure that content and these free videos keep coming your way, there is a way you can support us. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. The community is growing over there. We'd like to have you involved too. There's no risk over there. You can sign up for a certain level and pay a certain amount per piece of content with a cap. Absolutely no risk. There are some benefits over there. T-shirts and a private Facebook group and some premium content. All depends on what level you sign up as. But that is a way that you can assure the content keeps coming your way. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Of course, if you ever want to just leave a flat donation, we do accept that too and appreciate it. lawabidingbiker.com/donate. Don't forget to check out that weekly podcast, guys. It's on fire. Ton of content we're putting out. Get involved over there. It's the Law Abiding Biker Podcast. All right, let's get back into your video. All right, so this is our headset plug, of course, that we ran under the tank, and it's going to end up installing up by the trim there. It comes with a backing, and basically what we're going to do is put this up so it doesn't scuff the tank, basically. And once we get that backing on there, I'm just going to take a X-Acto knife and I'm going to trim around the exact shape of this plug so that I can put it on there. It's just like our rubber foam type stuff to protect the tank. That's what I'm going to do right now, is start tracing this out. Okay, so I've trimmed out my little piece. Doesn't have to be exact, or pretty, I guess. Nobody's really going to see it. I can take off the backing off one side of it. It's got backing on both, and then I can apply it to the back of this plug like so. Get it just right. There we go. Then you can trim it up a little bit if you need to trim a little more like that. But there we go. That, and then we'll end up removing this. There's another backing on it in a minute. And then also, I cut out, they want you to, there's a little extra piece. This is the clip that goes under the trim. And this part's actually going to sit on your tank, so you can cut out a little piece to make sure that's not rubbing on your tank either. And then I just put that little piece of backing on there like that. All right, and again, that's got that little piece on it. When we finally put this on for good here, we can go ahead and remove the backing off of it. All right, there's the backing. Get rid of that. And then, okay, say this will go up underneath the trim. Now that the trim's loose, we can get it up, and we've cut that back. That's about where it should go right there. We're not going to button this stuff down yet. And then there's another backing, or not a backing piece, but a little organizer clip. You can just get this, it just goes on your wire like so. It's kind of got a clip. And get that over your wire harness. I'm not going to stick that down yet, but it's a sticky tab. And it will basically stick, you know, down here somewhere. But again, we have to adjust, so I don't want to stick it down yet till I have everything adjusted here. And then this is going to go right under here like so, and at this time I can take the backing right off here. There we go. And then it's kind of just getting everything locked down there. This goes under like so. Kind of get everything in position where you want it, and then you can set everything down, and then we'll actually start locking this trim piece back down, and that will secure everything. So kind of like so. All right, I've kind of got everything situated. This, you can see it's still a little bit loose. You kind of got to just hold everything down while you're getting this tightened down. Once we get it tightened down, everything will stay put. So I'm going to start getting this bolt to hold this trim piece down in the back here. And again, that was a 3/8 inch for you guys. And I'm not going to tighten this down all the way because I need to situate that front bolt, but at least that'll hold some stuff for me while I start manipulating the top here. Okay, now I can make sure everything's properly aligned up here at the gas tank. Make sure your lid goes over good there, or not your lid, but the trim piece goes over. There's a seal around there. Then we can put our gas cap back on. Then of course don't forget our 5/32 Allen that goes right up here in the top. And that's why I didn't completely tighten that back yet, because you want to have a little play up here so you can get the holes lined up correctly. And just finish and tighten this. You don't have to crank this too much. I'm just getting it tight. And another little quarter turn there. You could probably strip that out, so be careful. Now I'll move back down to the back and make sure this is all still lined up where I want it, and everything's starting to get solid now. Okay, and now I'm just kind of fine-tuning everything, make sure everything's right where I want it, and then I can go ahead and snug this one down. Again, tighten another quarter turn on this one. I'm not going to get it too much. You could strip that out. It's just a threaded clip, so there we go. Everything's nice and secure now. Okay, I just have a little alcohol, rubbing alcohol right here on a rag. I'm just cleaning this off because the kit doesn't come with that, of course. God forbid Harley-Davidson put a alcohol pad in there for you. And once you clean all that off, then you can move, and I'm actually going to move this clip. I don't like it there. And so I'm just moving this pad up a little bit. There was a zip tie here, and so I wanted it up farther. Okay, and now I got that in. I can slide it up, and I want to be pulling down on this a little bit, so I want it nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing now, and then I can take this, get it all adjusted just right, make sure this is slid up where I want it, and then I'll go ahead and just stick it right on the tank. Give it some good pressure. There we go, and then the rest, to manage the rest of this, you know, that's up to you. I'm just probably going to zip tie it, and I'll just stuff it down in here. I could even just go like that. There we go. That way there's no extra, but again, the wire management, that's up to you guys how you want to do that, make it look clean. Okay, and then there's a weather cap, obviously, that comes with the kit. It's just a flip cap, but it's threaded inside, so just make sure and thread that over the top. All right, and that only goes down so far, and then it kind of just spins, and now you've got a weather cap on there. All right, and don't forget your 50 amp fuse there, your main fuse, get that back in. All right, and back on with our side panel, of course, now that we're done putting the fuse back in. And of course, I'm just getting my seat all back up there. Make sure you get that tongue up in the front first, so your seat's locked down. Like so. And then of course I've got the one Phillips in the very back of my seat. All right, and then back up with the fairing, there's some lips down here. You always start with the bottom. And of course, if you want to put a towel on your fender, that's fine too. All right, headlights plugged in. And I can just rock this back, make sure your wires are secure and you're not pinching anything when you're putting this back up here. And we'll just kind of let it situate like so. And then again, I'm just gonna, just like I left this one for the last time, I'm gonna put this long one in this windshield and just get it hand started. That basically holds it so I know it's not gonna fall off now, and I can go work on those inside bolts. We'll do the windshield last. All right, don't forget the two insiders. Remember, the long one goes up top. That's why I don't tighten anything down on the fairing yet. I'm actually gonna finger start this, and you might have to manipulate your fairing around. You'll feel it start threading. And then I'll take the bottom one and do the same. And again, you might have to move your fairing around. And then I'll do the same on the other side of the inside of the fairing. You wouldn't want to just tighten one side down because it gives you some room to manipulate this fairing around so you can get all these lined up. So I've got both those started. Now I'll go around to the other side and get those fingers started, make sure I can get them lined up. Okay, now I've tightened, finger started, and I tightened the other side down. And now I can tighten this side down. Don't over tighten these, guys. We stress in our videos, your fairing's not going to fall off. Just tight and then barely a quarter turn. That's all I'm doing. They are not going to come loose, and they are super easy to strip out, and that can cause some real problems. So it's kind of a hassle. So tight, and then that's about it. All right, and last we'll get our windshield in here. Get everything lined up with that center bolt, which is just finger tight. It was just holding the fairing on. I'll back it out a little bit there. Give me a little more room. All right, there we go. And again, these are Torx 27, guys. All right, and just finishing up here. Don't over tighten these. They're threaded inserts, guys. A lot of guys way over crank these. You'll see as I go around here just how little I'm actually tightening these. That way you won't have to worry about pulling those threaded inserts out. That happens too. A lot of guys that over tighten these. So get it down snug, and literally one hand, that's about it right there. And of course, just getting the saddlebag back on. All right, 2 quarter turn clips. There we go. All right, best part about installing this 7-pin communications port is we can now use the Biker Boom headset, guys. That's right, the Biker Boom half helmet or no helmet headset, and available exclusively in our store. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. It is fully functional, half the price of the Harley-Davidson version is what we're selling this for, and it's got more features. It's got an inline volume control that the Harley-Davidson one doesn't have. Again, half the price, guys. Works better. We've tested both of them. Did a lot of research on these and finally brought one that bikers around the world are just raving about. All right, so it allows me to go ahead, obviously, and plug in now the Biker Boom headset, now that we've got our 7-pin. All right, and what that allows me to do is 2014 and on. Of course, it works with 98 and on if you have the Biker Boom does. But specifically 2014 and on, Harley's equipped with the Boombox Infotainment System. Doesn't matter which version, the small one or the touchscreen. It allows you to give voice commands to the Boombox system, and it is fully functional, and it works awesome, such as take me to this address. Voice commands, types it in your GPS, make a phone call if you have your phone synced to your Boombox system, of course. And fully integratable and fully functional when it comes to voice commands. And it works great at all speeds. You can be ripping down the freeway at 70 miles an hour with this thing on, and with the boom mic, no problem. It recognizes your voice. And of course, if you have Ultra Classics and Ultra Limiteds, things like that, you've already got this stock, the 7-pin. We put it on because this bike doesn't come stock with it. Then you can also get your passenger a Biker Boom headset, and you guys can talk to each other too. Again, if you have the Ultra Classics with the CB, it's fully integrates with those two. 98 and on, guys, as long as you have the 7-pin connector, then you can use the Biker Boom headset. This is the half helmet version. Of course, this goes right behind the head, really nice like so, or if you're a state with no helmets, of course, but it works perfect with the half helmet. It's very, very adjustable, and again, all speeds. You can head on down the road, and again, fully functional with the Boombox system. I won't get deep into it. I'm just telling you, we've done a lot of videos. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com, search for it. Search for Bluetooth headset. Check our YouTube channel. I've done a lot of explanation on that. The Boombox system simply wasn't made for a Bluetooth headset to pair directly. It will pair with your phone, no problem. That's a hands-free profile. Harman Kardon, the maker of the Boombox, didn't make it to have a hands-free or a headset profile, I should say. It's just not built, guys. So everything else you see is a workaround or hack, and we've done a lot of research. It's not going to be fully functional. With a wired solution, which is what the Boombox was created for a wired solution, our headset, half the price of the Harley-Davidson one, and it functions better. So again, it is available exclusively. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out the Biker Boom headset, guys. That is why I did this project, so I can have that full functionality with my Boombox. All right, guys, peace out. I left it here. Top bolt. Oops. All right, now we'll kind of final adjust. Oops.